You're right. There's a stigma attached. It's odd that there's no stigma attached to a broken knee. There's no stigma attached to a broken wrist. There's no stigma attached to a broken heart. Right. But a broken mind, there's a stigma attached. It's quite fascinating how we've done that. People use the word crazy as a euphemism for so many things. It's definitely got a negative pejorative to it, if you've noticed. I mean, you of all people would know that. What are the strides in mental health? What are you seeing that you're saying it's moving in a more positive direction? People are taking notice. And do you feel that it is a forgotten situation? Is it easy to forget or not care about those with mental health issues because it seems to tie directly into our jail and prison systems? Tons of people in there that probably shouldn't be due to mental health issues, certainly drug issues, but I'll let you talk on that. And then the homeless problem. I mean, what, 80% probably, if we pulled them all and tested them, have a mental health issue? 90%? I mean, we know it's astronomically high. I don't know if a number of studies been done because I don't know if enough people have been tested to know that. But tell me about your feelings of, are we making strides as a society in terms of mental health? And you mentioned that COVID may have had a hand in that, people paying attention, but talk about, I just want you to expand a little on
Sure.
how far we've come, or are we not far enough?
So first off, we're a bunch of cynics, and we don't believe things we can't see. When I say that, I'm making a blanket general statement about human beings and my peers. That it's really easy to see a broken leg and say, yes, we need to fix that. It's very black and white, it's very linear. But a broken mind is something entirely different that we don't fully understand, and we're afraid of things that we don't understand. I mean, I think that's human nature. And when you're afraid of something, you act in fear. And so if you think about it that way, that let's avoid things that make me afraid. So let's avoid the mentally ill. So they're homeless and they're without care. Let's put some people in prison because or jail. That's where they deserve to be because they stole something. And there's no insight. So fear does a lot of things to us that if we had knowledge and we understood it more, the people in power would behave differently. More money would go into education at a younger age, where children would learn about mental illness and addiction in elementary school. Starting from there. There would be more studies done on the brain and mental illness and addiction. It just has to start sooner, and it has to be the information has to be more readily available. So I start there because that's one of the reasons that we're not helping people. We can talk about there's too many. It's overwhelming. There's too many drugs. There's always going to be so many drugs because people want to feel better. That's human nature. That is never going to go away. Getting high and feeling better than you feel is never going to go away. But we can make people feel better without drugs. Better paying jobs, volunteering, better family systems, all of that. And I know that these are generalities and these are like big picture things, and I'm taking broad strokes, but those are facts. Those are facts, and drug and alcohol use will continue to rise if people feel like crap. That's just, and many of those people will turn into addicts because they don't feel like they have a choice. In the mental health arena, there needs to be more services that are known, not only state by state, but in the country. It's like the worst secret in the world. There is a lot There is a lot of programs out there that service the mentally ill, but good luck knowing where they are, how to find them. And then if you do, you're on a waiting list. And to me, that's just criminal. That's just absolutely criminal. There needs to be federal regulation for treatment of the mentally ill and substance abuse, and there needs to be state cooperation so that there's standardized treatment. People with a substance abuse issue or a mental health issue get treatment. People are not gouged financially. The for-profit world and the non-profit world, when it comes to the dual diagnosis of mental illness and drug addiction, have to come together, and they have to have a standard of care that can work for the entire country. And that is one of the things that needs to happen. Insurance companies, they pay too much for treatment, or they don't pay at all. And when they don't pay at all, they get into massive legal battles with treatment facilities, overpayment, and there's really no regulation on the insurance companies. Where do you go? You hire an attorney. You can't go, you go to the Supreme Court. I mean, Blue Cross Blue Shield is a monster in the United States. Good luck fighting them. Aetna is a monster in the United States. Good luck fighting them. They just throw money at it. It's a massive problem. But if you were able to regulate it and people knew what they're getting reimbursed for treatment, and then you actually get treatment for what you need, that's a solution right there.
It almost seems like the system's not interested in rehabilitation. You always heard when people argue the point that you just made, our jails and prisons are not about rehabilitation. They don't seem to be. It's certainly not work. If it is, it's failing at that. And then exactly what you explained, that there's too many hills to climb and hurdles to jump through and getting paid, and it's just not an onus on rehabilitation.
And I'm sorry, but psychiatrists and nurses, psychiatric nurses and therapists, they don't hate their jobs. They're bored.
Right.
They're bored. They're bored because they do the same thing over and over again. They do their notes because they are really working for the insurance companies, or they're working for their owner who, if they don't do their notes, they're going to get fired. They're not doing it because it's their craft and their art and they love what they're doing. They're doing it because they need the paycheck, and that's about it. That's boredom. And there's something wrong with that. And I would argue that that's a major problem. They don't hate what they do. They didn't go to school to hate what they do. They're just bored of what they do because it's the same thing over and over again, with the results being the same and feeling like they don't get anywhere.